Welcome to Expert Profiles Atlanta, where Atlanta's influencers and innovators share strategies for overcoming obstacles and achieving success in business and life. Here's your host, best-selling author and Atlanta influencer, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today's guest is Dale Contant. Now, Dale is the president and owner of Atlanta Design and Build, and he helps homeowners in the Northwest Metro Atlanta area transform their homes to enrich their lives. Atlanta Design and Build has over 22 years of residential remodeling experience, receiving recognition from Remodeling Magazine's Big 50, Qualified Remodelers Magazine's Top 500 for the last 16 years, 14 years listed in Atlanta Business Chronicle's Top Residential Remodeler, and Dale is actively involved in the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, serving as National Officer for the last 5 years, culminating last year as President and currently as Chairman of the Board. Welcome to the show, Dale Contant.
Well, thank you, Neil. That sounded like a pretty glowing report there, wasn't it? An introduction.
It certainly was. You've been in the industry for a long time. You're obviously very good at what you do, very involved in the industry. So we want to hear as much about that as possible because there's a lot of people that always want work done on their homes. So tell us a little bit about Atlanta Design and Build and who it is that you help.
Well, Atlanta Design and Build is a full-service residential remodeling company. We have camped out in residential. We've shied away from commercial and so forth, and even the house flippers, people who flip houses. Our primary goal is to meet with clients that own their home. They want to stay in their home. They loved it when they bought it, but the house has outlived exactly what they want anymore. So, our goal is to really help our clients love their house again and enjoy living there and making it like a live, work, play atmosphere. Not everybody's going to want the same things like that, but we that's what we try to do is we listen to them and try to make their house something that they love to come home to again.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a situation where everybody's needs and wants are different, but we spend so much time in our homes that we certainly want it to be comfortable and exactly what we're looking for. So what are these people looking for? What kind of changes do they want to make in their homes?
Well, that's another really good question because every customer, we just got out of the home show this weekend, and I worked Saturday at the NARI booth and also one of my suppliers' booths, and we got to meet a lot of different people with different ideas of what they wanted to do to their home. And really, my experience over the years is that a lot of homeowners have bought their home. They bought their home. They loved it where they bought it because of the location. Maybe they moved up and got into a new home. But once they've been there for a while, they find out that they really have nothing that's really theirs. It wasn't their design. It wasn't their finishes. And after seeing all these shows on TV and the website Houzz and Pinterest, they can see different examples and ideas of what they could have. And another thing that influences that is when people they travel and they go to these exotic places and they have these spa areas or these wonderful amenities in home hotels or VRBO houses, and they come home and they look at their house and say, wow, we can do that here. So we listen to all those types of different suggestions and ideas and wants and desires, and we start a plan. We start planning for them.
Yeah, there's definitely lots of ways for them to get ideas through the internet, through magazines, through all these TV shows, and there's always updating and remodeling going on. So what is most popular right now for people to get remodeled in their home?
Well, that's just an easy answer. It's always been and always will be kitchens and baths.
Right.
Those are the largest segment. But we're also seeing folks that want to add additions and sunrooms, or they have that unfinished space in their downstairs area, the basement. So Atlanta is a big basement community because of the hilly neighborhoods that we have. So there's a lot of unfinished spaces, and there's a lot of hidden potential down in those basements as well. But kitchens and bathrooms by far is the largest segment of renovations taking place in everybody's home.
Well, let's break them down. Let's talk about kitchens for a minute. Obviously, a kitchen is where people gather and where all the cooking is done, and it's got to be functional, but you want it to look nice as well. What kind of things are people getting done in their kitchen to change from what they already have?
One of the things that we've seen a trend towards in the last 5 years, I'll say, and maybe longer, is the open floor plan. If you have a 50s, 60s, 70 home, those decades, a lot of the builders built the homes with a lot of compartments. I call it compartmentalization. And the kitchen is in one space. The family room is in another. The dining room is in another, and are all separated by walls and doors. What we've seen is a desire for kitchens to just blow out those walls and making it be more of an inviting, living atmosphere, because a lot of families tend to congregate and entertain with their neighbors and friends and family in the kitchen. So if we're able to remove walls and expand that space, everybody is closer. They're having more fun together. They're not on top of each other because it's still the big space that you started out with, but they're able to spread out and enjoy their time together. So that's what we see happening in kitchens, is that we removed a lot of walls and a lot of barriers and making it more spacious.
It's definitely nice to have that wide open kitchen where you can see into the living room, and you're not trapped in a little box sometimes where it can get pretty hot if you're doing a lot of cooking. Now, what about the countertops? Is it still granite? Is granite still in?
Well, we were on the very front end of granite years ago when it was introduced, and at that time it was very expensive, and then granite, the supply and demand and the way the technology is, they've been able to fabricate and manufacture it and ship it from all around the parts of the world and get it here. It actually became very affordable. So granite was still it was probably just had a huge run of designers and homeowners wanting to have granite. But now the change is towards quartz. A quartz product is a man-made product, but it has natural stone in it, which is quartz and other type of materials. And the quartz product is as hard or harder than granite. And there's a lot of different variation or colors and variation of colors that you're able to get with the quartz product. So if you go to the countertop companies, granite is still the biggest seller probably, but quartz is very soon going to overtake that.
And how is quartz priced? If it's man-made, is it actually cheaper than granite?
It is not cheaper. It is not less expensive. It does cost more. Some of the quartz products do cost more. The microbial, they're able to keep the microbes from growing on it. It's very heat resistant, virtually stain resistant. And the quartz companies has done a pretty good job of vilifying granite, that it can absorb stains and all. And it's not really true it's true to a little bit of a degree from some of the softer granites, or definitely marble. Definitely marble, you can etch it and stain it. Mm-hmm. But quartz has done a good job of saying, hey, our stuff is virtually indestructible. So they've done a very good job with that. And they've made a lot of the quartzes look like some natural stones. So they're still getting the look of a natural stone, but it's a man-made, almost virtually indestructible quartz product.
Right. So that's a good marketing message, I guess. That whole indestructible part is something, because if you get a stain in your granite and you can't get it out, then you're stuck with it for a while. So quartz is definitely something to look at. Now, how about the actual cabinets and the resurfacing? Are they getting resurfaced? Are they getting replaced? Or what's the best thing to do?
Well, Neil, I'm glad you asked that question, because this weekend I had a conversation with a couple. And they were up in Woodstock, Georgia, just north of us, and her goal was to either paint or reface her cabinets. So I dug a little bit deeper and wanted to know how old they were, how long they'd been in the house, and how long do you plan on staying in the house. And then I was able to triangulate from her answers. I was able to understand what she had was a white melamine cabinet. And I can pretty much let you know, after being in this business for so many years, those are MDF cabinets with particle board boxes, and they're just not the quality of the kind of quality cabinets that they should have moving forward after they're 25 years old, and then put on, to resurface it and to put countertops on it. You're not doing yourself justice. Now, if they were looking to resell their home and flip it, like you heard me say earlier, a flipper to flip the house, that may be okay. But really and truly, they're going to stay in the house. I said, wait, spend a little bit of more time saving your hard-earned money to really buy cabinets that have a lot of the features and benefits that those cabinets don't have now. Because I can 99% assure you that they don't have the slow close, the slow door, closed doors and drawers. Right. They don't have the full extension doors or drawers, excuse me. They don't have the dovetail drawers. They don't have the plywood boxes. They're just not the quality. So I am a huge proponent. If a cabinet is over 15 to 20 years old, remove those cabinets and put in new cabinetry. You'll be so much happier with the new solutions of storage that there is than the cabinets that they have now.
Well, I mean, you just said it right there. The new solutions, there's always something new coming out. And if you are 15, 20 years old, it is time for an update. Now, what else do you do in the kitchen other than the countertops and the cabinets? Is that the two main things?
Well, one of the main things that we see that when I was explaining, you purchased someone else's design, is that most home builders, and specifically in Atlanta, when you're buying tract homes or homes that are built on a volume basis, the layout might not be conducive to how your lifestyle is. All right. So what we're able to do is to listen to what they're trying to do, maybe get rid of the peninsula, install an island that you can prepare, entertain around, even have chairs at, and move certain appliances to have a much better traffic flow and ease of use in the kitchen for either a single cook or multiple cooks. So that's one of the things we do, is that we like to see if we can improve the existing layout in kitchens, because I would say close to 80% of the kitchens out there that are 15, 20, 30, 40 years old need a huge improvement of laying it out to where it's more efficient use of space.
Mm-hmm. So talk to me a little bit, and I know you've touched on it by saying you really get to the point of asking, are you staying in the home? What do you want out of your life? What do you do when somebody comes to you for help with their kitchen? Do you sit them down first and have that long discussion and what their needs are?
Well, yeah, we want to know what their goals are and what their plans are and what's not working for them. We actually have a kitchen and bath planner through our home style process that identify. It's a question. It's a very structured question and answer of what they like about their kitchen. What do they dislike? Do they want to have an island? Do they want to have a gas, electric? So it goes through a 2 or 3 page questionnaire that basically lets them really think about what they really want in their kitchen and what their goals are. And then we're able to figure out through their answers to nail down what because they might not know coming into it what they really want, but they know what they don't want. They know what they don't like, and then that helps us identify the examples of and it's also using other examples of all the years we've been doing this of how somebody also had an idea that they didn't want to have a pantry cabinet. They thought that they needed to have a walk-in. Well, there's some solutions for pantry cabinets that are just as good or better than a walk-in pantry if you're limited in space in your kitchen.
So, and then once you get their needs, you go about designing really what can fit in that space.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, it's we also bring in a kitchen designer, a cabinet designer, who's usually a certified in that business, that even helps tie in the loose ends, because us as the contractor, we know a lot of what needs to be done with the space itself, removing the walls, where we're going to remove the walls, moving a doorway, adding a window, so on and so forth. But sometimes it's good to have another part of our team help our customers get to the decisions of how they need to help design their space. See, we're not telling them that, hey, you need to do this, this, and this, and this. We're suggesting these ideas to them and letting them kind of experience this evolvement as it evolves to where they're going to answer the questions. Yeah, that sounds great. I love it. I like that. I saw that in so-and-so's kitchen. So, they know what they want to have. They just don't know how to get there. And between us working together collaboratively, we're able to make that happen, to where they're really satisfied at the end. There's no better testimony than after at the completion of a job, and you go back a year or two later and says, what would you do different? And they say, are you kidding me? We wouldn't do anything different. We love this.
Definitely. That's exactly what you want to hear. And there's so many spaces in the house, and we've just touched on kitchens so far, but you said bathrooms were the second biggest. Quickly tell me about just the functionality of what people are looking for within the new modern showers and hot tubs and everything else. What do you see going on in bathrooms these days?
Well, bathrooms is a kind of a different animal when it comes to where locations are, where the existing plumbing is at. Now, I would say probably more like 60 to 80% of bathrooms, the plumbing is in the right place. The cabinets are in the right place, the toilet's in the right place, the shower is somewhere in the right place. So we're not moving as many items in a bathroom as in a kitchen because it's a smaller place, a smaller space already that we're working with. What we've seen is that I'll give an example here in Marietta, some of the houses in East Cobb and Marietta that are really, really nice homes, but their bathrooms are just like so outdated. Like they have a shower that's literally a stand-up box. It's 3 feet by 3 feet or 2.5 feet by 3 feet, and it's tiny. And they've put up with it for all these years. And they have a tub that's a jetted tub that they never use. So what we're seeing is and it all depends on if the bathroom space allows it. If it doesn't allow to have a really spacious walk-in shower, we're eliminating the tub quite often. All right. Another thing is the toilet, the water closet, the loo. Did you say loo in Scotland, Neil?
Yes.
They do? Okay.
To the loo.
The loo. Well, a lot of times here, if it's out in the open, we're putting the toilet in its own water closet, its own space. And with the new codes now, you need to have exhaust fans in both the water closet and out in the water source, like a shower, so to help keep the moisture down from mold and mildew that can happen from a high moisture environment. So you have to have adequate ventilation. It's also safer that way. Another thing is that in a lot of master bathrooms, I'm more giving you examples of master bathrooms is to also have 2 sinks. For resale value later down the road is to, whatever you can do is to try to have a his and hers sink in a master bathroom. So what we're seeing in master bathrooms a lot is a much larger walk-in shower. Sometimes removing the tub if it's a big space and it can still afford to have a tub, but maybe have it be a soaking tub and not that water jetted tub. The water closet, of course, and then having two sinks on your vanity cabinets.
Right. So now tell us a little bit about Atlanta Design and Build. You didn't start out with that name, and you started out with mainly doing outdoor stuff that we haven't really talked about.
Well, yeah, we started in 1996 as Sun Fun Remodeling Incorporated. We wanted to just do a lot of work on the exterior. I had left. I had always been a contractor that worked outside. All my years growing up, I've been in construction for almost 50 years now. I started when I was 10 years old, and so I've always worked outside. And then when we started Sun Fun Remodeling, we were doing decks and sunrooms and additions. In fact, our very first job was a really nice addition in East Cobb with a deck on it. We just saw that there was such a need for more. There was other remodeling that was taking place inside. So that's when we knew we needed a name change, and changed it to Atlanta Design and Build to more represent that we now are a full service remodeling company. And there were some really good companies back then in the 90s and early 2000 that were also design build firms, and we looked at how they did it, and we modeled our company after them. And now some of those companies actually are gone. They're retired or they didn't survive the recession, and we're still going strong. So we are first a design build firm where we like to design what we're going to do for our clients, and we all have the same buy-in and agreement. And then from that point, we're able to estimate it and construct it per the drawings.
Excellent. So what are a couple of the misconceptions or misunderstandings that people have when they're thinking about getting their home remodeled or something in their home redesigned?
I'd say like one of the largest ones is that a lot of people think they need to add on to their existing home to make it bigger and more spacious, when really a lot of homes, the inside the 4 walls they have has tremendous hidden potential to give them some of the new space that they want to live in, like the kitchen or like the family room, trying to make it all one space. But also, a lot of my clients right now are the baby boomers, where they've raised their families in their house. They're going to stay in their home. They want it. Their kids are going to come back with their kids, but their home needs to be updated. In those instances, then I highly suggest to put on a new Georgia room. Down in Florida, they call it a Florida room. You build this new space on the home. And again, it's usually off of the family room kitchen area, where it's an area that will just flow in and out. And then you have a home, you have the space on the outside of the house that is part of the home, but you're able to you feel like you're in the outdoors because there's lots of windows and a lot of light. There have been a lot of studies about how the sun and the light on these type of rooms are just so much more healthier and comforting for people.
Definitely. Now, you said that you have been doing this since you're 10. What inspired you to get into this business, Dale?
Well, my dad was a contractor. So my dad was I grew up in South Florida, so I was involved in the building boom in the 60s and 70s down there. And fast forward, 30, 40 years, I have just stayed in this industry. I've just enjoyed working on homes. I had a little bit of time when I worked on condominiums down there in the commercial sector, but I've just always, my heart's always been in residential construction and working with families and just people that live in their home. I've just always been that type of a contractor. I've built some homes on my own, but remodeling is just a very unique space where there's a lot of intricacies that you have to be very, I'm a detail person, so you have to be very detailed and service oriented to be successful in what we do.
Well, it certainly sounds like that you have that passion for it, and it's got to be great to be able to transform, some spaces that didn't look too great and not really functional to something that looks outstanding and has the functionality as well. Obviously, for yourself, that's got to be great, but for your customers and clients, that's great as well, that they have something new that they can appreciate in their homes. So tell me, Dale, if somebody is looking for a remodeling company, what are the important things that they need to check to make sure that they're going to get a job well done?
Well, first, get references. Get references. Ask friends, family, neighbors of anybody that they've heard of having a successful experience. There's many people that know how to build, and there's a lot more that don't know how to build, to be honest with you. There's a lot more that shouldn't be doing this at all. Mm-hmm. But for a customer, check the references. There has to be references, or go look at some of the existing homes that they've done. Call those people, have that contractor take them to look at a house, verify that they have their proper insurances and that they have the state licensing. And again, I would say that probably the most important thing is just make sure that you get along with that person, because working on somebody's home is a very stressful period of time. We are basically tearing up a house or a kitchen or a bathroom while they're living in the house, and we have to make that experience as pleasant as possible, because it's not a pleasant experience to have that done. It's kind of like, I would say, I equate it to having a baby in a way. It's, you're going through that process, but once you have the baby, it's the most wonderful thing in the world. So I always let them know, look at the end results of what you're going to have. We have a lot of customers that are very, very patient and understanding through that time that that their house is in disarray. But when they see the jobs that we've done and they talk to our customers, it's worth the journey. That's one of the things that we came up with. And our tagline is that we transform homes and enrich lives. The most successful thing is to be able to have a client say at the end of it that we had no idea that this renovation was going to make us enjoy our home so much better. That's just a very satisfying thing as a contractor myself, but even better to have our customers also echo the same thing.
Excellent. Well, Dale, what is the way that people should get in touch with you if they want you to come out to their home and have a look and give them ideas of what they can do to redesign it or put on additions or anything like that?
And I'm glad you're asking that, Neil, because I'm also going to let somebody know how they can reach another person. See, like, we only work in a small geographic area around Cobb County and Marietta. We work we'll go down to Atlanta and Dunwoody, but there's a whole other part of the metro area that we can't service it effectively. We try to work in our area so we can really service our clients the best in the area that we live in. So our phone number is 770-565-8999, but our website is Atlanta Design Build. Atlanta Design Build. If you pull it up, you'll see our logo, our website. You'll see our happy customers. You'll see lots of pictures. But there's a lot other contractors and other builders that are part of remodeling contractors that are part of NARI, the National Association of Remodeling Industry. They can also reach out to them, and if they're over in other parts of the city and the metro area that we just can't service, there's some other good companies that are part of that association that really abide by the same rules and principles that we do.
Well, excellent, Dale. You've given us a lot of information. There's certainly a lot more that we could have talked about today, but we're about out of time. Thank you for all the information that you have given us. What's new in the kitchens and bathrooms, and the outdoor places that we didn't really get a chance to talk about. There's certainly a lot there going on that we could have another discussion about, but
I sure could have.
Thanks very much for being my guest on Expert Profiles Atlanta today, and maybe we'll have you on again to talk about some more of that outdoor stuff.
Hey, it's fantastic, Neil, and I appreciate it. And this is what I would say to you. Have a good day, mate.
Thanks a lot, Dale. And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
Thank you for listening to Expert Profiles Atlanta with Neil Howe. To learn more about the resources in the show or to listen to past episodes, visit expertprofilesatlanta.com.